It's now 6:34. Make the 6:35 right here on NRP Radio. We thank you so much for keeping locked on this station. It's now time for the news. A very pleasant morning to you, and welcome now to our platforms nrpmediaja.com, also Facebook and YouTube at nrpmediaja. It's Wednesday, March 13. I am Leon Nash with the NRP Break of Day Newscast. And we do appreciate your company this morning. And before we get on with the news, here are the headlines. The 2024-2025 budget debate got underway in the House of Representatives yesterday, with the finance minister outlining the government's $1.3 trillion expenditure for the upcoming fiscal year. Government rolls out plan to help courier service award, that should be courier services, ward off attacks from criminals. PNP expresses concerns about the announced changes to the public procurement process and its potential implications. 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of Central Village, St. Catherine. And in sports, Malaysia says it has been offered £100 million to help the country host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. The news today is brought to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Hi, I'm Genevieve.
And I'm Kalisha. And we are the Christo Praises. You're listening to NRP Media and Radio. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Now for the details of the news. The 2024-2025 budget debate got underway in the House of Representatives yesterday with the opening presentation by Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark. He outlined how the government's $1.3 trillion expenditure for the upcoming fiscal year will be funded. At the tabling of the estimates of expenditure on February 15, Dr. Clark had explained that contributing to the spend are non-debt recurrent expenditure of $769.9 billion, capital expenditure of $80 billion, and debt servicing of $491.2 billion. He outlined as well that non-debt recurrent expenditure includes allocations for recurrent program expenses at $327.8 billion, as well as compensation expenses at $442 billion. Dr. Clark stated that the compensation allocation includes an estimated amount to conclude the implementation phase of the restructuring compensation system during the fiscal year. Wages and salaries are projected to represent 12.6% of GDP in 2024-2025, and this is up from 9.2% of GDP in 2019-2020. He added that it must be noted that the amount budgeted for public sector compensation for the 2024-2025 fiscal period exceeds actual compensation for the 2021-2022 year, the year before the compensation restructuring began, by approximately $200 billion. Dr. Clark explained that the government has made a concerted effort to address historical challenges with public sector compensation, and now it is time to consolidate. Opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson will respond to the minister's representation in his contribution to the debate on Thursday, March 14, while leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, is slated to speak on Tuesday, March 19. Prime Minister Andrew Holness will make his contribution to the debate on Thursday, March 21, to be followed by Dr. Clark again, who will conclude the budget debate on Tuesday, March 26. Meanwhile, the finance minister has announced that the government will be putting in a system to assist players in the cash courier service to equip the vehicles and to minimize on the number of successful attacks and robberies of or attempted robberies of on these vehicles. According to the finance minister, the mental health of personnel as well have been negatively impacted over the years due to the risks of the job and the fear of attack by criminal elements.
Madam Speaker, effective the first quarter of the upcoming fiscal year and for 24 months thereafter, any company that operates an approved cash courier business will be able to import free of general consumption tax on the added cost of armor in the vehicle. So you buy the car for $100. You have to pay full duty and GCT on the car. But sometimes to armor that car takes another $100 or $80 as the case may be. And then to say you have to pay all of those on the armor as well acts as a disincentive for the retooling that is necessary to provide the security that we need for the logistics of cash movements. So, Madam Speaker, what we plan to do is on the cost of the armor, we will provide that relief.
That was Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. The new initiative will result in the government expending in the region of $50 million. In recent times, there have been increased attacks on courier vehicles across the island and the subsequent shooting death of some personnel and civilians. The announced initiative, the minister says, is intent on minimizing this. As of September, more Jamaicans would benefit under the Jamaica-Cuba Bilateral Medical Scholarship Program. The Cuban government is offering additional scholarships for Jamaican students to study in various fields, including nursing, medicine, and engineering. Each year, the Cuban government invites applications from persons wishing to pursue undergraduate and postgraduate studies. The program is administered by the Embassy of the Republic of Cuba in conjunction with the scholarship unit of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and other entities. Cuba's ambassadors to Jamaica, His Excellency Fermin Gabriel Quinones Sanchez, told JIS News that the Cuban government proposed an expansion in their offer of scholarships at the 8th CARICOM Community Cuban Summit in Barbados in December 2022. At the summit, he said Cuba made a commitment to increase the number of scholarships provided to each Caribbean country. He said that in the past, the Cuban government offered around 6 to 7 scholarships per year, and now they have increased that amount up to 21 for 2024. Ambassador Sanchez said the scholarship program is designed for students who would return to serve the country. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has reaffirmed Jamaica's commitment to the Haitian cause and called on the Caribbean community and regional and international partners to act urgently to restore order to the French-speaking island. Mr. Holness made the statement at the Jamaica Pegasus in Kingston on Monday on the occasion of a high-level meeting on Haiti convened by the heads of government of CARICOM. The Prime Minister pointed out that the political, security, and humanitarian crisis in Haiti has been worsening on the ground, especially over the last few weeks. He said it is clear that Haiti is now at a tipping point, and CARICOM and regional partners are deeply concerned, as are international partners. The Prime Minister says CARICOM heads have been intensely engaged in discussions and outreach to prevent the situation in Haiti from becoming a civil war. He outlined further that Haiti requires a long-term reconstruction and support plan from regional and international partners. The People's National Party has expressed concern about the announced changes to the public procurement process and its potential implications. The opposition says it acknowledges the need for streamlining procedures and using technology to aid the country's development. However, there are significant worries regarding the integrity and potential for fraud in this initiative. The Shadow Minister for Finance and the Public Service, Julian Robinson, highlighted that the allegations of corruption and misappropriation of public funds faced by the government compound worries about the integrity of the procurement process. Mr. Robinson emphasized that the importance of transparency in government operations, particularly in procurement. He questioned trusting the government, who is embroiled in integrity issues, to manage the procurement without proper checks and balances. He said the government, which currently has 6 members under investigation by the Integrity Commission and the Prime Minister, whose statutory declarations are yet to be certified, raises serious doubts about their ability to manage procurement without adequate oversight. The opposition, therefore, has called for the government to outline the mechanisms that will be in place to ensure a smooth transition to the new public procurement process, as well as published all contracts exceeding $10 million, thereby ensuring transparency and accountability. The St. Catherine South Police have listed several persons of interest in their division. The following individuals are asked to report to the Portmore Criminal Investigation Branch CIB by 6 p.m. today. They are Andre Simpson, otherwise called Colorfrast, of Elbow Central Village, a man only known as Nicholas of Zan Lane Central Village, a man only known as Mario of Compound Central Village and East Kingston, Oral Samuels, otherwise called Spoily of Browns Lane Central Village, Shanoya from Compound area of Central Village, and a man known only as Drakey from McBride Hill Central Village, all in St. Catherine. Detectives have identified these individuals as persons who may be able to assist them with ongoing investigations in the division. And finally, a 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of Central Village in St. Catherine. The curfew began at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 12, and will remain in effect until 6 p.m. on Thursday, March 14. The boundaries of the curfew are south along an imaginary line from the compound of Taxi Stand onto Mandela Highway west-east to Ostrom, approximately 1,130 meters. West along an imaginary line from Ostrom to the military range running south-north, approximately 600 meters. North along an imaginary line running east-west from the military range to Windsor Road in the vicinity of Prophetess Morris Christian Church, approximately 1,200 meters. East along an imaginary line from Windsor Road, vicinity of Prophetess Morris Christian Church, to the compound taxi stand running north-south, approximately 639 meters. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within the boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized by the ground commander. You're listening to News on NRP Radio, your primary Christian source for news, sports, and the weather on nrpmediaja.com, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. Now let's give you some sporting information brought to you by Hepburn's Glass. They are located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston, Jamaica.
Hepburn's Glass Supplies is the latest trend-setting supplier of glass and mirrors in the industry. We specialize in tinted clear glasses as well as mirrors for all your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. To maximize your shopping experience, we stock 316 and 1/8 mirror thickness and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of float glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 908-962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburn's Glass, quality service is our priority.
Thank you very much for staying with us right here on NRP Radio. Now it's time for the sports information that we've got for you. David Raya settled all lingering arguments about manager Mikel Arteta's judgment and his status as Arsenal's first choice goalkeeper amid the sound and fury of a dramatic Champions League win over Porto at Emirates Stadium. Araya's uncertain start as replacement for Aaron Ramsdale prompted suggestion that Arteta had attempted to fix something that was not actually broken by bringing in the Spaniard from Brentford to replace the Arsenal fans' favorite, who was good enough to play for England. And in the spirit of full disclosure, and before the reminders arrive and large portions of humble pie are thrown in this direction, one of the biggest doubters is right here, he said, and must admit to being wrong after witnessing Rhea's finest night since arriving at Arsenal. Rhea delivered when it mattered most, offering further confirmation of his steady improvement and reliability with two penalty shootouts, saves from Wendell and Galino as Arsenal reached a Champions League quarterfinals for the first time in 14 years with a 4-2 win in the shootout after a 1-0 win on the night. And still on football, the Reggae Boys here from Jamaica, the squad for the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League finals will be unveiled at a press conference on Thursday, and this will be at the Jamaica Football Federation starting at 11 o'clock. And the Reggae Boys are preparing for the CONCACAF Nations League coming up later on in this year. Finally, on athletics, Malaysia says it has been offered £100 million to help the country host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. The Games is currently without a host after the Australian state of Victoria canceled its plans last July because of soaring costs. Malaysia's Olympic Council says it received a formal invitation from the Commonwealth Games Federation to replace Victoria as host last month. The CGF says it is in advanced discussions with potential hosts, and that more information will be announced. That's sports, brought to you by Hepburn's Glass, located at 13 Chisholm Avenue. They are in Kingston, Jamaica. We promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you know of or are aware of any event or person whose good story we should highlight, please send this information to our email address at nationalreligiousmediaja@gmail.com or call our WhatsApp 876-336-9928. That's the local news and sports. Stand by now for the latest international news, courtesy of the Voice of America.
This is VOA News. I'm Alexis Strope. President Vladimir Putin says that Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if there is a threat to Russian statehood, sovereignty, or independence. Details from VOA's Tommy McNeil.
Speaking in an interview with Russian state television released early Wednesday, Putin said he hoped that the U.S. would avoid any escalation that could trigger a nuclear war, but emphasized that Russia's nuclear forces are ready for it. Asked if he has ever considered using battlefield nuclear weapons in Ukraine, Putin responded that there has been no need for that. He also voiced confidence that Moscow would achieve its goals in Ukraine and held the door open for talks, emphasizing that any deal would require firm guarantees from the West. Tommy McNeil, VOA News.
Late Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny's longtime aide, Leonid Volkov, was assaulted with a hammer in the Lithuanian capital Vilnius on Tuesday, former Navalny spokesperson Kira Yemrish said. Reuters' Ryan Chang has more.
These are very dark times for us.
This interview was only hours before Leonid Volkov was brutally beaten on Tuesday. On the same day as he spoke to Reuters, the longtime aide of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was allegedly attacked with a hammer in Vilnius, Lithuania. Police fenced off his home and were seen searching the grounds late at night. A former Navalny spokesperson said someone broke a car window, sprayed tear gas in Volkov's eyes, and hit him with a hammer. Volkov spoke about Russian leader Vladimir Putin to Reuters before the attack. Lithuania's Foreign Affairs Minister Gabrielis Landsbergis called the assault shocking and said on social media that perpetrators will have to answer for their crime.
Ryan Chang from Reuters. You'll find expanded coverage of world news and events at our website, voanews.com, 24 hours a day. This is VOA News.
Thank you very much for listening there to the latest information from the international scene, courtesy of the VOA. Stay with us right here inside of our newscast as we wrap things up. We're heading now to providing you with the latest from the Weather Center, the National Meteorological Center of Jamaica. Thank you for staying with us. The National Meteorological Service of Jamaica is reporting that there is a significant feature of a ridge building across Jamaica. The ridge is expected to strengthen and remain across Jamaica for the next few days. Additionally, a low-level jet stream is expected to develop south of the island on Friday. In the 24-hour forecast this morning, expect mainly sunny conditions. This afternoon, partly cloudy across western parishes and hilly areas. Otherwise, mainly sunny, windy along coastal areas. Tonight, fair. In terms of our 3-day forecast, Thursday through to Saturday, partly cloudy in the morning across northeastern parishes, otherwise mainly sunny. Partly cloudy in the afternoon, and on Friday, mainly sunny in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon across western parishes and some hilly areas. On Saturday, expect partly cloudy conditions during the daytime, windy across southern parishes. There is a dissipating cold front just north of the Greater Antilles as we continue to watch current regional weather features. In terms of maximum temperature expected for Kingston and Montego Bay, the maximum temperature for Kingston is 32 degrees Celsius. For Montego Bay, 31 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast right here on NRP Radio. With that, we've come to the end of our news presentation this morning. But before we go, here are the headlines once again. The 2024-2025 budget debate got underway in the House of Representatives, with the finance minister outlining the government's $1.3 trillion expenditure for the upcoming fiscal year. Government rolls out plan to help courier services ward off attacks from criminals. PNP expresses concern about the announced changes to the public procurement process and its potential implications. 48-hour curfew has been imposed in sections of Central Village in St. Catherine. And in sports, Malaysia says it has been offered £100 million to help the country host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. The full half-an-hour package of news in the NRP Break of Day Newscast came to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. Here's your invitation to join us again this evening at 6:30 for the NRP Evening News Roundup. On behalf of the entire news and production teams, I am Leon Nash for NRP News. Join us again, and we invite you to log on to our YouTube channel at NRP Media JA. Feel fulfilled and informed. Have a good rest of your morning until we meet again. This has been news right here on NRP Media and NRP Radio. Good morning. Coming up next will be the program Let the Word Speak with Reverend Paul Blair.